My name's Eric Harned. I'm 53. I am and have always been in a business sales world. I'm a baseball umpire and a very dedicated parent. My life changed in 2006 when, through a fall hanging Christmas lights, I fell 18 feet, thought I broke my ribs. Went to the hospital to have them checked out, and come to find out my ribs were fine, but my lungs were not. Did not know that I had, at that time, what was diagnosed as bronchiectasis. So God was working in a weird way. He uncovered a disease that I didn't know I had through a fall, and I really feel that that was orchestrated by His hand, because if not, I might not have known what was to come. So in 2006, I began care under a pulmonologist who basically let me know that with the condition of my lungs was going to cut my life short. Innocently, the day after Labor Day, I'm putting on my shoes to go to work, and I have a huge sensation of not being able to breathe. My heart and chest were heavy, and I really thought that I was having a massive heart attack and didn't know what was going on. EMS got me to St. Anne's Hospital, at which time they determined my right lung had officially collapsed. Well, they made a call that day and said that in order for Eric to make the transplant list, OSU was dictating that he would have to have 24-hour care for 6 weeks after he got home. And since his family was not there to take care of him, they were calling on the church to raise their hand to help. When my elder, Terry Tabor, came over that Sunday afternoon, he brought me communion every Sunday. And he brought in this big Lazarus bag, and I didn't really know what it was about. And after we talked and prayed and I took communion, he said, "I just want to let you know, the church really reached out to support you today, and I want to show you how." At which time he dumped open that bag, and all these cards flooded out. He says, "That's how many people," raised their hand and said they would do whatever it took, whether it was nursing care, whether it was cleaning your house, whether it was getting your mail, whether it was going to get your groceries, whether it was shoveling your walk, the snow, taking you to doctor's appointments. The list was exhaustive. That ended up being the many things that they had to do for me. December 21st, got a phone call. It was Stacy again at OSU. She had woke me up, so I was a little agitated because it was only 9:15. And I said, "Who is this?" She says, "This is Stacy." I said, "Oh, good morning, I'm just waking up." She goes, "Well, how you feeling?" I'm like, "Okay, other than you woke me up." And she says, "Well, I just want to make sure you're not sick with a cold or a flu or anything like that." And I said, "No, I feel pretty good. It's still just having a lot of trouble breathing." She goes, "Well, we thought you might like to come down and get your new lungs today." That was how it was posed to me. And I was really worried, but they quickly put me under, and 8.5 hours later, I woke up the benefactor of 2 new lungs. I had a little bit of oxygen for a short period of time, but was in a significant amount of pain. But I felt this ease over me. I felt God was watching, and I just wept. I have to admit, I always counted on the river to kind of get me grounded in the morning on my drive to work. But when I went on disability and was laid up waiting for the transplant, the one thing missing in my life was that morning grounding that I got listening to the river. One thing I said to somebody from my Sunday school class that came to visit me was, they go, "Well, how you doing?" I said, "Well, to be honest, I'm kind of alone. I don't have my morning dose of music, because unfortunately my son had stolen my speakers from my home, and I had a receiver but no speakers, so I couldn't listen to the radio at home." Well, a day later, I heard a knock on the door, and then it went away, and I really didn't get to the door in time. Well, they had already let themselves in through the garage, and they brought me in an iPod, and it was loaded with Christian music from the river. So now I could get my fix, so to speak, by listening to the music that had been recorded. you just can't really put it all into perspective unless you experience it firsthand. And for me, I think, I don't know that I could have ever gotten through this if one, I, for whatever reason, wouldn't have been a Christian, or two, wouldn't have been part of a church that was as well connected and caring as the one that I was part of.